Right, so here's the heater unit. Just before I rip the whole damn thing apart, I shall re-baseline, reconnect, and nothing. We've got a leak in here somewhere, so we're going to get the matrix out. The matrix. Right, so I need to get this unit apart. So let me just get these hoses off and I shall get set up and show you how to take a heater unit apart. So effectively we are looking at a clamshell design. So here's the joint right down the middle. Right down the middle of everything, okay? And the idea is you split the two halves apart, you gain access to the motor at the top, you have access to all of the vents and the fans, and then lastly, right at the very bottom at the back here, you have access to the matrix. Pissing thing. Right, now, let's stop cursing the matrix and just get on with this. So I need to really get myself organised with taking this off. Now, before we do that, let's release the mechanism from the rods that operate this flap here and this flap down here. So all I do here is just flip the white plastic clip open, which I've done, and then prise the metal rod out. That's it. That's all you need to do with those. We can adjust them up again afterwards. I'll show you how to adjust them up. It's easier than falling down the stairs. Right, I need to go get the drill. Mr. Drill next. Right, by drilling these 4 rivets out, what we're effectively doing is we're releasing how the control panel is held in to the slide. So it basically slips in between the two halves. Naturally, the fucking pot rivets are just spinning. Because luckily I can access the back. It's just... But sometimes when they start spinning, there's fucking what you can do about it. There we are. Part in the back. Let's fix that. And then this one. Out. Ah, Mr. Gravity. That's the thing that was holding it on just now. So I'll do these two. And one more before the battery goes flat on this thing. Is it going to last? Yes, it is. Put the battery on charge. Right, now that's out, you can't remove the control yet, but it's ready to come out as soon as we split the two halves. So, in order to split the two halves, all I do is ping each of these clips out. Loads of them. All the way around. Absolutely fucking hundreds of them. Donk. These are easier than the earlier units, which had about 55 million screws, because they had, the centre section was one unit, and the outside sections were then screwed on. These ones, they're just two big plastic clamshells. There's sometimes it's a round clip on that one. Some reason, probably because I couldn't be asked to put it back on. It's not on this one. There's a screw there. Get that out. Unscrew. There's another screw down here I can see. Another screw down here. I have noticed that there's quite a lot of moisture in the top here, and I think that I am missing the or the centre moisture vent thing behind the grills on the bulk deck panel. I think that's missing. I'll have a look in a minute. One right up there. Is there another one? No, that's that. And then that one. Yes, right. That's, you see now the things start to come apart. Now, before we go nuts on this thing, I tend to just safeguard a couple of bits. So I want to safeguard this bit here because that's valuable. This is the loom for the motor. That can just go on this side. Because all I'm going to do is split this thing into two halves and then work with it once it's apart. I'll undo the screw here to take this vent off this side. Okay. In fact, there's two screws at the bottom as well. There's a lot of water in the bottom of this unit. It's very telling. Because these screws are different, I'm just going to pop these two back in these holes. The reason I take this off is because it gives me access to that fella there, which is the end of one of the vents. I used to do that on both sides. Now you do need to take this end panel. I'll tell you the reason why. So these all need to come out. This is the old Darth Vader thing going in. Remember that from the Series 1, from the early metal. Heater units. I just got distracted then for a second, thinking about Darth Vader for some reason. Right. I need to disconnect the control cable for the heat, which is this fella down here. But I don't need to go nuts on taking everything off this side. So there's that panel there. The reason we need to take this panel off is because we can see this flap going through that gap up there. And I'll talk to you about that in a second. Let's take this fella off here. It's just a little clamping screw for the hot and cold. So I'll take that off, and then this. All I've really done is just taken the two end caps off. I haven't done anything particularly spectacular, apart from breaking wind, and it was horrible. Is there any more? There's one more down there. That's out. When that comes out of there, we can now see inside the flaps, the motor, and so forth. It's all a bit crappy in here though. Right, now let us prepare to separate the two halves on this thing. Now, I'll go around to this side first of all, because what we need to basically do, you can see the inside of the fan there, this flap on this side needs to be upright and needs to fit through a gap up there which doesn't really exist. So what you have to do when you're pulling these things apart, hold the flap up, and then you need to stagger until it decides that it is happy to either disengage or, I think it's that way, it is so close. There we are. It's done a chunk of it anyway. I think it's actually come out the other end. Let's pull this bottom piece apart and then continue to extract the two halves, inch by inch. Now the control mechanism is free at the front. Small plastic plate that blocks in the matrix. Lots of water in the bottom of this unit. And there we have the heater unit split into two. The various flaps and things. That's the motor end. Put that over there with all its associated electrics. And we've got this end, which is the end I'm primarily concerned with, and this bit, which I'm spectacularly irritated with. No obvious signs of cracking. I reckon it's actually failed around here because all of this foam is sopping wet. So we're going to do a bucket of water test on this in a minute, and then we're going to go back and we're going to do a nice critical feedback on wherever I got this fucking thing from. I should be able to look at the receipt and I'll tell you exactly where I got it from. And we can give you a reference as to whether you would want to spend half your life pulling one of those out for it to fail for no good reason and just not work. Right, I think on that note, I shall stop recording, empty all of the crap off my phone, and start again on the reassembly of this heater box. See part 3. It's not very good, is it? It really isn't. It's basically, it's coming out. In fact, let's take all this fucking foam off. Now we know it's catastrophic. Trying to work out where it's actually coming out from. It's actually not even where the end cap goes in, it's where the matrix joins into the end cap. It's broken. What the fuck? So it's not the end cap, because I was thinking it was where this black plastic cap was clamped on. What a piece of shit. as with any project like this, part of me is pleased, I think, that I found out the root cause of the problem. Part of me is fucking irritated the fact that I've got to do it again because someone sold a shit part. I don't think it even came from brick part. I think it was a beer mat, but I'll have a look. Someone sold a shit part that is not fit for service, and it just pisses me off. Right, so this is a used old stock matrix. It's got a quality status bypass test OA label on it. There will be a date on that if it wasn't quite so ancient, but I've tested the pressure on this, it works. So we'll start by putting the old matrix in the old heater box. We'll make sure all of the flaps are on the right sides of the, they are, that's good, and that's good. Okay, then we'll get the other half of the heater box. What I might do is reassemble this part onto here briefly, because it's just going to get in the way otherwise. It goes that way up, doesn't it? It does go that way up. Yes. Does it go that way up? Yes, it does go that way up. I'm chuntering away to myself here. What the heck? So we'll hopefully have this heater box back in the car today and start reassembling the dashboard because that's the kind of the general idea behind what I want to try and get done. But yeah, that other matrix had actually failed where the core goes into the end plate, but not where the end cap fixes on, which is kind of surprising for me that it could be so utterly fucked up. Now, when you're putting these things back together again, they are a pain in the bollocks. I'll tell you now. In fact, it may be easier to do this. This is where some people manage to fuck it up and they put the fan, not the fan, the flaps, the wrong sides of the holes. So it's going back together again pretty much exactly as it came apart, just by inching it together. That needs to go up there and into there. I'm just going to slowly push that in. That plate there, what's happened there is moved. That's what's happened there. That needs to go into there. How does that go in there? What am I doing wrong? Yes, it does go into there. So let's take that pop rivet off there because that needs to come off. Maybe if I leave it on there, by my pop rivet, that can stay there. That's good, that's good. Right, now let's line up again. Stand him upright. Stand him upright. Put that there. He goes behind there, like that. And then this flap down here, he's in roughly the right sort of place. I can see where he's going now, that's good. All I would suggest you do is once these things go back together completely, is to make sure that every single function still works on this thing. Yeah, so you can see the flaps moving for the hot air, you can see the flaps moving for, you know, the ventilation and so forth. Because you won't have to be cross. If you put this thing all the way back and in the car, and then find that there's something that just doesn't work. This bit here has got stuck there. That bit there is okay. That's got caught on there. That's why that's not, because that needs to go in there and not behind there. So it's pulling apart again. Push that in to that slot there, like that, and then that's good, and that's good, and that's good. Where's that one gone? He's gone right back over there now, so that's not good. So I'll pull it apart again, put that one there, up there, that's good now, and then that is all going now better. And that's good. Right, now, before we forget, we'll pop this plate in here, because this needs to go into here and then be locked in there like that. Now it should be a case of lining up each of these flaps for now with the hole it needs to go through. I think it's this one here that's causing my bother right now. It is. That's done that one. And then this one down here is in knots. Will be in a second. Come on, you bastard. Whoops, there goes the drill. Right, I can see where it needs to be going. There it is. That one's in. Now we've got the big one at the bottom here, which is this fella here, which I can see through there. Needs to come this way a little bit. There he is. I think that is it now together. So I'll put a couple of clips on it to hold it together. These fellas, they just go on as easily as they came off. Let's put one down here. I'll put one on the bottom. And I can go through and just double check the functionality of the various. So they're only electric, those ones anyway. Puts the two white control rods on. One there.
Yeah, he saw the horses and didn't give a shit.
Oh, that's all right then.
That's what I thought. So, how's it going?
Hey. Just putting it back together again. And like that, and that goes down, up. So I know, talking to my camera, I know that when I pull that up and down, this bent down here opens and closes. And that's for screen and, if I remember rightly, screen and footwell. Middle section, which is good. And then this one is for the fresh air, which is bent again. And that was working. Nice firm action. This one here is for fresh air, and the only other one I've got is hot and cold, which is this one here, and it's turning, so I'm assuming that it's turning, it's working. Oh, one more down here, right down at the bottom. Is that working? This one down here is not working. Why is this one down here not working? Why are you not working? Oh, he is working. Just I'm doing it the wrong way. And this is the hot and cold. Two flaps. That one, which is working, and that one, which is also working. Put all the clips back on now, and then sticking back in the motor amidst lots of swearing. Right, we're going to put this bloody heater back in again. We were going to put the bloody heater back in, but the seal's already fallen off, so I'm going to wait for the seal to dry a bit longer. Can you get these, all sorts of different types of glues, yeah? Thousands of them out there, yeah? And they all proclaim to be the strongest glue since I don't know when. And they never fucking are. Utterly fucking useless. It has glued. It's glued enough. I can see what's going on. Now, when you're putting this thing back in again, the trick is to present it in much the same way as it came out. But what you need to be really careful of is the two pipes on the back of the heater matrix, because they will snap and you will curse when they do, because then you'll be stuck in the same fucking problem as I was stuck in, that you are left with absolutely no choice but buying shonky, cheap, nasty shit reproduction crap that wouldn't fucking do anything at all. So getting roughly in the right sort of place. Now what I'm going to do now is go down here, put my hand on the pipes, and this is the important part where you need to be able to have the dashboard moving up and down, or the dishboard even, because there is a certain amount of liftage that you need to do in order to get this to go back without getting violent with it. Carpet's in the way. Let me move the carpet out of the way. There's the carpet out of the way. Right, now again, so manoeuvring it back an inch at a time, and I'm stuck now. What am I stuck on? Right, here we go. That's better. Quite a long way out. Why is it so fucking far out? Right, this is going to come forwards again. There we are. I'm just being very careful I don't bust the fucking pipe off this matrix. And this is the problem I had last time. But the problem last time was actually getting the front part onto the nose. So I put it this far, I should be fairly safe on this matrix now. Oh, before I go too far, I'm going to put this vacuum hose back on the top. Let me do that before I forget. It actually goes, you see through the top here. Oh, that's good. There it is. Because this is what controls the fresh air into the car. There should be a couple of wires that go up there as well. Right, so that's on. Again, fingers on. What's it actually catching on? It's catching on something up here. Oh, it's catching on the fucking sound deadening. Get out of the way, sound deadening. There we are, that's better. And then it shuffles backwards, a millimetre at a time. Almost in. Goes. And now it's just a case of lifting it up into place and pushing, checking that that fucking foam seal is still on there. It is. And it is. I can feel it down the back there. The foam seal is still attached. I need the lamp just to see what's going on with the heater hoses going through the holes. Let's put my glasses on. Oh, they're there. They're right there. Just needs to go that way a tiny bit. There we are. That's it. So now, the next thing I would do is to position the 4 bolts that secure the heater unit to the bulkhead. They were 1/2 inch, weren't they? No, they wasn't. They was 9/16, Richard. Here they are. 4 of them. Let's put them there. Put that on there. This is 9/16. So the problem that I generally have with these is that the heater box needs to be lifted slightly in order to get the first one in. And then once the first one's in, the second one, third one, etc. become quite straightforward. Now there is a nasty coming up, and that is to make sure that the loom hasn't got trapped behind the heater unit. Otherwise you end up having to undo these 4 bolts. So I'll come around that side in a second and just confirm that I've still got all of the wiring. Fucking hell. I don't think that's gone in. I think it has actually. It might have done. Sorry about that, blinding everyone, including myself there. Right, coming around that side. Bloody thing. Right, let's move the... I don't know if you can see or not. But now, I'm going right down here. There's the loom, that's good news. There's the heater. And there's the fixing. I'll get the top one up first of all. Let's put these up there. Here. Try not to knock the camera over. Fuck. Right, see, I have to lift the heater up just very, very, very slightly and then drop the whole fucking lot on the floor. Yeah, it's done up. Right, okay, it's done up. Let's put the loom back on now. Connect up this side first of all. So I've got a big connector which is there. It goes into a similarly large connector. Currently hiding. There it is. He's on. So that's the motor connected up. And we've got these two wires here. Go to each of these switches. I think they went on this way around. Did they go on this way around? Did they go that way around? They go on the back, like that. They go like that. There's that one going on. No, that's not one going on at all. That's one going on. Now it's on. And we've got this one, which I'm going to tuck the wires up there and push him onto the switch. He's on. Then we've got this one, which goes across to somewhere. We've got those ones to go over there, and then we've got another two, which is these two here, which are going to go up to the fresh air vent. What have I got down here? Is there anything else down here that's going to go banzai if I turn the ignition on? No, I think we're okay. Ignition. On. The blower's working. Blower's not working. Aircon's working. Fresh air vent. Footwell. I think it's all working. I'm happy enough with that. Right, what we'll do now, I think, is assemble the centre console.